Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Money, we got Cardinals Opinion, we got Michael, we got James, we got Adrian, we got Lorenzo, John, Steve. What's up, y'all? Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Do me a massive favor. Smack up the like button here on your way in. Shout out to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. Sleeper, proud sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan throughout the entirety of the 2025 season. More on them a little later on. But today, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to kind of get a gauge of where you guys are at right now, sitting on January the 15th on a Thursday, where we had a lot, and I mean a lot of news drop in the world of the NFL yesterday. John Harbaugh going to the Giants. Tomlin might stay for a year and not coach for a year. And if you want him, you probably have to trade for him. Dante Moore decides to stay in college. Whether it's he saw the Cardinals and the Jets up there and he was like, no, I'm good. Or whether he wants to develop more. There is a lot of storylines that we need to go ahead and get started on here today. And we got a lot to get to, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The Arizona Cardinals currently right now, big storyline is we are still looking for our head coach, right? A lot of big names out there. Well, I'm not going to say big names, but a lot of names. And I'm talking about a lot of names being thrown out there for Cardinals to try to interview every single person out there. It feels like the Cardinals are trying to interview everybody and their mother out there. But unfortunately, they're not reaching out to any experienced head coaches like Mike McDaniel, Brian Flores, and Kevin Stefanski. Wherever you feel like you are at with the whole Kevin Stefanski thing, he is a two-time head coach of the year, had 11 wins in 2 out of the 6 years with the Browns, and he's a head coach that has experience, and the Arizona Cardinals said no to all 3 of these guys with experience. Instead, what the Cardinals are doing is they're bringing in a lot of offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, a lot of them that do not have a lot of experience. But, I mean, it worked out for us with Bruce Arians, right? Maybe that's what they're hoping for. Maybe they're hoping for a inexperienced guy that we can quote-unquote develop when we can't even develop our own players. Maybe that's what Michael Bidwell is trying to do. I don't know. Regardless of what it is, it does feel like the Arizona Cardinals right now in an organization where it seems like shambles is probably the best word to describe the Cardinals and the dysfunction of what's going on, because although we've been hearing all the praise of Mike Tomlin, oh man, Mike Tomlin, 19 years with the Pittsburgh Steelers, an amazing head coach, the 4th head coach since the 60s or something like that for the Steelers. The Arizona Cardinals, truthfully, are going into their 5th head coach in 10 years. It's crazy, right? With Bruce Arians, Cliff Kingsbury, Steve Wilkes, Gannon, and now the new guy. All in 10 years. And 5 coaches in 10 years. And that just kind of shows you where the state of the Cardinals are at right now, unfortunately. But we're here to talk about it. I want to get a gauge on where you guys are at right now with this whole situation, because also I made a video, probably dropped it or about 10-ish a.m., and then new updates dropped, right? Robert Saleh was supposed to be meeting with 2 teams yesterday, and none of them are Cardinals. None of them are the Cardinals. But Saleh is also meeting with somebody else this morning, and again, not the Cardinals. Not the Cardinals at all. Saleh is meeting with the Dolphins today. So it's one of those things right now where, as Cardinal fans, we got to sit back and really ask ourselves. I get it. Sometimes we say to ourselves, man, we're one of 32 teams, right? Oh, man, everybody's going to want a job here. I think we're kind of getting to the point where this organization, as the Cardinals and owned by Michael Bidwell, is probably seen as a very bad job. And it sucks to say we probably are a less attractive job than the Titans. But realistically, looking at these head coaching candidates that would rather go to the Titans than the Cardinals is very telling. Is very telling. Ian Rappaport yesterday said that there was 2 teams that were in on Saleh, that they were going to interview Saleh on Sunday. 2 teams. That's the Ravens and the Titans. Today, he's meeting with the Miami Dolphins. Now, is there a world where we see breaking news saying, okay, Robert Saleh is going to meet with the Cardinals on Friday. Robert Saleh is going to meet with the Cardinals on Sunday or Monday. Maybe, right? We're all hoping for a sliver of chance and hope that that can happen. But for a guy that was at the top of my tippy top list in terms of realisticness, obviously, you got Harbaugh up here and you have Tomlin, but like they're pipe dreams. Let's be real. We're the Cardinals fans. We're the Cardinals. That's who we are, right? We're Cardinals fans. We don't get what we want. But in terms of guys that I wanted at the tippy top of my list, Saleh was up there. Saleh, Kubiak, and right now Kubiak is still in the playoffs, and he's met with every single team, not every single one of them, but a good majority of the 8 vacancies that are currently open right now with the Steelers as well as the Ravens, which probably seems a lot better of an organization and a better job than the Cardinals. Who would choose the Cardinals over the Steelers? Who would choose the Cardinals over the Ravens? Who? Nobody would. Nobody would. So I'm concerned. I'm absolutely concerned here that the Arizona Cardinals might be living in a world where we're going to be dealing with the Cardinals hiring, next defensive guru, Vance Joseph. We might be living in this world, ladies and gentlemen. We truly might be living in a world where the Arizona Cardinals might be hiring Vance Joseph. Now, shout out to my guy, John Gambadoro here of Arizona Sports. He put a prediction out there, and I believe it was sometime earlier last week, or it might have been earlier this week. He put a prediction out there, and it's a prediction. It's a prediction. He said that he predicts the Arizona Cardinals are hiring Vance Joseph. And then we get Saleh doesn't want to meet with us. And then I don't know if Kubiak would choose us over the Steelers and the Ravens. No, he won't. He won't. He won't choose us over any of those guys. Like, oh my goodness. This right here feels like, okay, we got the appropriate thing that we needed to do, right? We got Gannon. We're going to get a fresh start. But and I'm not going to come out here and say, oh, we made a mistake. We shouldn't have let go Gannon. No, we should have let go Gannon. This is not one of those things where I'm like, oh, we should have kept Gannon. No, it's not. We should have fired Gannon. They did the right thing. The problem is the Cardinals organization is not seen as a coveted spot. We got multiple coaches would rather meet with the Titans. The Titans, ladies and gentlemen. The Titans over the Cardinals. What a day to be alive right now. This is absolutely insane. But this might be a realistic situation to find ourselves in. Now, are we going to get on board, right? Cardinals fans, if would you get on board with Vance Joseph coming in here? I mean, let's call it like it is. Vance Joseph was a defensive coordinator here with the Cardinals, right? Now, the reason why people are linking Vance to the Cardinals is because he has a relationship with Michael Bidwell. Obviously, he was the defensive coordinator when Cliff Kingsbury was here. I remember very distinctly, I remember very, very specifically, I can't speak right now, specifically that a lot of people wanted Vance Joseph fired from the defensive coordinator position. I remember very, very specifically that was a thing amongst the Bird Gang. And then 4, 5, 6 years removed, we might hire him as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Damn. Oh, this is insane. This is absolutely insane right now. Now, I said this before. Mike McDaniel, I want him more as an offensive coordinator than a head coach. I've said this before. But at this point, interview him. Interview Mike McDaniel as a freaking head coaching candidate. Please. Sell him to the idea that maybe you can have Kyler. Maybe you can go ahead and get your quarterback of the field. Sell the idea that we need to bring somebody in, and you are the guy, Mike McDaniel. Please. We definitely need some sort of SOS right now because this is a realistic scenario here where the Cardinals might find themselves turning over every stone, right? Right here, Monty for turning over every stone. And all these coaches either don't want us or they're being hired in other organizations. It's absolutely insane, but this is the real world that we're living in right now. It's not certain. It's not 100% set in stone, but this right here feels like we are in deep, 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 deep trouble. Now, for the people out there that do not know the updated list for the Cardinals in terms of coaches that we've requested an interview for, we've already interviewed, or at least had some sort of contact with, these are the most updated list that we have right now, right? Saleh, Kubiak, Morris, Shula, Joseph, LaFleur, Thomas Brown, Jesse Minter, Anthony Weaver, Matt Nagy, Jeff Hafley, Arthur Smith, and Matt Burke. Arthur Smith, dear God. Oh, my goodness. if there's one worse than Vance Joseph, it'd probably be Arthur Smith, right? If it was Arthur Smith, then my God, I don't even know how I would be able to cover this team in 2026. I really don't. Now, I think I could make it through if Vance Joseph is the guy, right? I think I can. But like, it's always one of those situations where you're like, this is the plan and what you want to do, right? This is what you should do, Cardinals organization. And then they do the complete polar opposite. It's just like, okay, well, do something different. It's like that meme where you're poking somebody and say, "Come on, do something, do something." And I'm not sitting here asking for the Arizona Cardinals to have breaking news. What we're trying to hire this guy. No, that's fine. I get it. The first domino to fall was John Harbaugh, right? That was the first domino to fall in this whole situation. And I know fully that it was a pipe dream. The Cardinals weren't going to get John Harbaugh, but it was fun. It was cool to see these AI pictures with him in Cardinals gear. It was cool. It was fun while it lasted. And I wasn't expecting fully that it was going to happen. Michael Bidwell's the owner at the end of the day. But what I am expecting is that this Arizona Cardinals organization does right and truly makes into action what they were saying in the press conference when they ended up letting go / firing JG. You want to win? This isn't the way. This isn't the way. Most of these guys are not experienced guys. We're doing the same thing over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. The only guys on this list right now that have head coaching experience, the only guys, Robert Saleh, Raheem Morris, Vance Joseph, Matt Nagy. Was Arthur Smith also? I think Arthur Smith was one. Even if he wasn't, even if he was, like 4 or 5 of these guys were experienced head coaches before. All of them, most of them are not. Most of them are not. So what are we doing here, Arizona? What are we doing? What are we truly doing here? I just don't understand the path and what they're trying to do. I respect that there's 13 people on this list, I guess, right? I guess I respect the fact that we have 13 candidates and the Arizona Cardinals are flipping over every stone. I guess that's cool. But at the end of the day, what are we doing? Does nobody truly want this job because of the unknown with the quarterback? We got the 3rd overall pick in the draft. Is that not enough to entice? We got Josh Sweat. We got Trey McBride. We got Michael Wilson, Marv, right? We got some pieces on the defensive side of the ball that look pretty solid if they can be healthy. But why are people preferring Titans over us? Why are people preferring Titans over us? I don't get it. I don't get it. We got my guy Charge in the chat says John Gruden. Honestly, bring him in. Honestly, bring him in. I'm willing to try it at this point. It's crazy to me, man. It really is. But let's get to the super chat. We got Dan T in the chat. What's up, Dan? Appreciate the $2 donation. He's saying this. Could do much worse than Vance Joseph. That's fair. 100%. And like I said before, Arthur Smith would probably be the bottom of the bottom. That would be, oh my God, I don't know how to cover this team if Arthur Smith is truly the guy. I don't think I would get to that point with Vance Joseph. Obviously, he's not at my tippy top of the list. And it actually does feel like he might be the guy. So, damn, we probably just got to realize that this might come down to fruition. Now, if you want to talk some positivity for Vance Joseph was a former head coach, right? Vance Joseph was a former head coach. Didn't work. Went with the Cardinals. DC. It didn't work here either. Cliff Kingsbury left. He left. He ended up going with Sean Payton, right? He's running a very, very solid defense over there. Now, he's got Zach Allen, which was one of our guys over there. And I was jumping on a soapbox that we need to keep Zach Allen, but no, it wasn't in the timeline. We didn't have the capital to bring Zach. If you have a very good player, you don't want him to walk out the road. I don't care if you didn't draft him. You don't want him to walk out of the building. Like, you just don't. That was one of the first flops I've seen from Monty Ossenfort too. But Vance Joseph goes to Denver. Zach Allen follows him, and he's blossoming over there. Zach Allen is blossoming over there right now with this defense. And I'm talking about the Denver Broncos defense. So if you want to talk some positivities, there's positivities there. I just don't see a world where Vance Joseph is going to get this season right in a year. What Bidwell said. Bidwell said, I've seen coaches come in and do things in 1 year. Does anybody really have any serious positivity or I guess, good feeling about Vance Joseph fixing this in a year. Like, we're going to get into the playoffs, or we're going to be a contending team. And I'm not talking about Super Bowl, but better than a 3-win team. Do you see that from Vance? Seriously, like, do you honestly see that from Vance Joseph? I don't. I really don't. Now, I could be wrong, and I would love to be wrong, especially if he's the head coach of the Cardinals and he actually comes in here and makes things work. Then I guess that's cool. But I just, this ain't it for me. It really isn't. We got Silver in the chat with a $5 donation. Silver in the chat saying this: even though it looks bad, if they don't get this hire right, fans will be more uproar than they were with JG. Haven't called McDaniel or, yeah, 100%, 100%. Here's the thing. What I'm looking for right now is I'm looking for actually turning over every stone. That's what I'm looking for, right? Like I said, there is worse candidates. And shout out to you, Dan T, for obviously not just the super chat, but you're right. It can get worse than Vance Joseph. You're 100% right. I don't want to make it feel or make it seem like, although I might have had a little bit of a meltdown probably about 10 minutes ago, that this is the end all. Be like, oh man, the world's over. Because it's not. The world's over if we hire Arthur Smith. If we hire Arthur Smith, then the world's over. Vance Joseph, it's not. It's just, it doesn't seem like the move when we're hearing all these things, all these great positive things that Michael Bidwell said. It just doesn't feel like the right move for 2026. Now, I said this before about Saleh, right? I said Saleh was also a head coach defensively for the Jets. It didn't work out, right? And he's running a really good defense. And I've said this to myself as well, that this defense is playing very, very hard for him, right? And I'm talking about the 49ers defense is playing very hard for the 49ers. I mean, I guess you could say the same thing for Vance, right? If you want to say the side of, you want to stay the positivity side, Vance Joseph was a head coach. He's got the experience. He was with the Cardinals. He's got a relationship with Bidwell, right? And if they do bring him in, he runs a really good defense in Denver as well. Now, the head coaching job. That's going to be the big question mark out there, right? Can he be a head coach, and who is he going to bring in? Because, like I said, I just need some more clarity of what this organization is trying to do. We might be bringing in more candidates. We truly might. We truly might. I'm still waiting for the notification that the Cardinals are meeting with Saleh, because as of right now, it doesn't feel like Saleh wants us. It's like that one girl you really like in high school, right? But you try and try and try to kind of woo her, and they want nothing to do with you. This is what it feels like. We're like that one boy, right? That can't get the girl that he really likes, giving all the presents, giving all the flowers, and there's nothing, and nothing in reciprocating return. I feel like we're that person right now. And I agree. Why haven't we called McDaniel? Why haven't we called McCarthy? It's a very valid question there, Silver, because I don't get it either. I don't understand why the Arizona Cardinals right now are steadfast that this is going to be the direction, right? And like I said, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. Now, I also want to talk about this real quick. Actually, let's take some comments first. Let's go with Edgar. Let's take some comments, and then we'll talk about the uncertainty of the quarterback position, because I've seen some comments in the chat a little earlier saying, oh, the Cardinals might be bringing Kyler back after all. I mean, at this point, I don't think this organization really knows what direction they're going to go in, so I'm keeping all the options on the table. I really am. Edgar in the chat says, I'm really hoping for McDaniel. I agree. Why we're not at least bringing him in, I do feel like it's a little bit of a whiff. McCarthy, I wasn't high on McCarthy. No, actually, I was. I actually had him on my list for potential guys for the Cardinals to bring in. He's not on the tippy top of my list, but he's still a guy that I would like the Cardinals to bring in. Absolutely. Absolutely. Skull in the chat says Chip Kelly's a perfect fit. Stop it. Stop it right now. Stop it. Dante in the chat saying Vance Joseph brings back Cliff as an OC. No, I don't think Cliff wants anything to do with the Cardinals. McDaniel's not coming to AZ either. Yeah, well, I mean, we haven't even put a request to even meet with them at all. So for that instance, I mean, you're right. He's probably most likely not going to come here. I mean, you're probably right on that. DJ Boogie in the chat saying Larry Fitzgerald for team president. I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that. John in the chat says, I'd be down to Wait, I'd be down to do what the Falcons did and bring in a Cardinals legend for a team player. I agree. Yeah, I would like to see that. What last I've heard was that Kevin Stefanski might be a favorite to land that Falcons head coaching vacancy. That's what I heard, that Kevin Stefanski might be favorite to land that head coaching vacancy. If that happens, that works out, because like I said, although I would love the Cardinals to bring him in, I don't really want him. If I'm going to be real with you, I really don't want him. And I'm talking about Kevin Stefanski. But like I said, turn over every stone, right? That's what I'm looking for. But that's what I've been hearing. Is that Atlanta was really, really, really in on Harbaugh, but they weren't going to beat out the Giants. The Giants were the very first organization that brought him in last night. They didn't let him leave. They offered him 5 years, $100 million for him to coach. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. 5 years, $100 million to coach the Giants. Do you see Bidwell making that offer? I don't. And now Tomlin might have a rest year. And if anybody wants him, you might have to trade draft capital for Tomlin. It's prototypical guys that are so far out of the reach for the Cardinals to potentially get. It's kind of laughable at this point, right? Like, this is kind of why the Cardinals are always here. Ain't nobody want to be here, man. Nobody wants to be a Cardinals coach. It sucks. It really does. Javi in the chat says, call Doug Peterson at this point. What is Doug Peterson doing? I mean, I'm going to say no, but what is Doug Peterson doing at this? I don't even know if he's... What is he doing? I don't know what he's doing. Ben Garcia in the chat. What's up, man? Appreciate you for being here. He's saying this. Think of how awesome the tank would be, though, if Vance Joseph gets a job. It would be immaculate. Damn. I hate thinking about a 5th straight year of crap, of doo-doo. I hate thinking about a 5th straight year of it. Of course, I want to support Vance. Of course, especially if he's the guy, I want to support him. Of course I do. It's just, bring in McDaniel. I said this last week, and I'm changing it. I don't care. If people were like, oh, you flip-flopped. You said you wanted him as an OC. Yes, but that was before Saleh didn't want to love us. Saleh's avoiding us with a 6-foot pole right now. He doesn't want us. He doesn't love us right now, or at least per these reports that are coming out that we don't have a meeting with Saleh. He doesn't love us. So, yes, I'm switching it up. I'm going to say, yes, at one point I wanted McDaniel just as an OC, but at this point, F it. At this point, F it. Bring him in as a head coach if need be. That right there would feed families, right? That would feed families, man. Yeah, you want to keep Kyler for a year? I guess, whatever. Like, I'm trying to not be 5 straight years of BS football. I'm sick of being down here at the 4th spot, man. I'm sick of being, we don't have a future. I'm sick of it. So please, call McDaniel's people. See what we can do. This is insane, man. Crazy. Zay, what's up, Zay? I want a certified head coach. Hey, I mean, at this point, can we hire somebody in the chat? Like, hell, I mean, frick. Let's hire Edgar. Let's hire Michael. Hell, I'll even hire Ben at this point. John, anybody want a head coaching job? Make your family richer? Come on, we're going to be in the same spot in 2027, it feels like at this point. Like, damn, might as well feed some damn families out here. Sheesh. Oh. All right, let's calm down. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. Brandon in the chat says, now I want Saleh more than anyone else, but VJ would be preferred over the Chargers guy. Well, let's take a look here, right? Jesse Minter, I'm intrigued with, right? But I'm not going to... Everything's so flip-floppy right now, and I'm going to be real with you. I know I said I was intrigued with Jesse Minter, and I did not have Vance Joseph on my list, but now that it's setting in that this might be a real thing, that he might be the guy, I'm flip-flopping. I don't give a rip. I'm flipping it. Jesse Minter's intriguing, and I've heard some Chargers fans out there come out and say, oh, yes, don't take him. And I'm not saying... I don't know if that was being just I don't know, like if they're being legit or genuine. I don't know about that. But a lot of people are saying that the Chargers defense became one of the worst to one of the best when he was the defensive coordinator. Now, does that say very much? I don't know, right? You take that as you will. But I'm at least intrigued with Jesse Minter. Probably not to be a head coach, of course, but I'm intrigued, right? I'm intrigued at least. But man, Vance Joseph, let's prepare, ladies and gentlemen. Let's prepare. This might be a real situation. Um, that in the world that we're living in right now. Edgar in the chat says, "Mike, I got you an associate." Hell yeah, man! Just pay me what you can, man. And just throw a bone my way here and there. Give me some inside information, and I'm Gucci, bro. Like I'm good, man. Hell, if you want to make me the freaking water boy, I'm down. I don't give a rip. Make me the water boy. Make me the towel boy. Towel boy. That one dude that towels people like. I got you, man. I got you. I don't even need to be an OC at this point. Damn. Just throw me a bone every once in a while. I'll be good. I'll be good. Oh man, we're just joking, man. We're having fun, man. That's it. We're just having fun. We're just having we're trying to avoid mental breakdown. That's what's trying to happen right now. So excuse me for people out here. They're just chiming in and saying, "What the heck is this guy talking about?" Yeah, we're at the verge of mental breakdown right now. So let's keep it with the chat. Steven in the chat. What's up, Steven? Steven says, I agree all the fans should boycott this team. We demand a change and for Mr. Bidwell to sell this team. That will make everyone happy. Yeah, I mean, if the Bidwells continue to own this team, we don't have the resources that a lot of organizations have. And even when we do take a big swing, it almost feels like if that big swing doesn't work, that puts us in the hole for a multitude of different years. We can't afford to make a mistake. We can't afford to make a mistake here in an Arizona Cardinals like front office. We can't, because if you do extensions with Cliff, you do extensions with Keim, right? Which nobody wanted to extend those guys, but Michael Bidwell did. Now you're paying for it, right? You're paying for it 2 or 3 years down the road. Well, now you have to start thinking about, oh, well, Michael Bidwell doesn't want to pay for A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then all these other things that happen, right? Like these free agency pickups in 2024 were absolutely terrible, man. It's just, we pay for all these things of the decisions that are being made. Do I think they want to win? I think they do deep down. I think they want to win. I just don't think they're smart enough to do it. I just think that every big swing that they take, either A, doesn't work out for whatever reason, and that decision absolutely puts us in the hole for years to come. And it's crazy, man. It really is. Steven in the chat. I mean, it's going to take up entire fan base, man. It really is. And maybe not the entire fan base, but at least 60-70% of the fan base. And here's the thing. One thing that I've noticed about doing this as long as I've been doing it, and I'm going to be real with you, Steven, here. I don't think this fan base is connected like that. I don't think they can connect like that. A lot of people go to games for I want something to do on Sunday, right? Like they don't really care about the results. Like they want to say I went to a Cardinals game, or they want to tell their buddies on Monday morning when they go to work, "Oh yeah, I went to a Cardinals game. I got drunk, man. I went to the casitas. Yeah, it was so cool experience, right? We lost, but hey, man, it was fun. It was a fun weekend." People want to go for the experience, right? I don't think we have a big enough die-hard Cardinal fan base that is willing to make a movement like this. It's not. I've seen multiple people that they're gonna buy tickets. They're gonna sell tickets. Regardless, man. It is what it is. But it's just the circumstances that we live in, man. It really is. It sucks, but it is what it is. DJ Boogie says Brian Flores not getting head coaching teams are scared of him because of the lawsuit. No, Brian Flores has actually interviewed with a multitude of different teams. At least two of them. So it's not even one of those things that Brian Flores is not getting any head coaching. He is. Who Brian Flores met with a couple of them. I think, wasn't it the Ravens? Let me see. Give me a second. The Ravens met, yeah, Adam Schefter 22 hours ago. Steelers. Oh, so now Steelers. So check this out. Steelers have now requested a head coach interview with Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores per sources. Flores is in Washington today interviewing for the Commanders' DC job. Steelers head coaching job is expected to come. And I don't think that's it. I think there might be another one. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, the Ravens. So the Ravens and the Steelers are in on Brian Flores. And guess what? The Cardinals aren't. The Cardinals aren't. Nope. So there's at least two teams that are interested. And guess what? If the Steelers are looking at him and the Ravens are looking at him, Cardinals, you might want to look at him because sometimes Cardinal fans know what they're talking about. Sometimes, right? Sometimes we know what we're talking about. But yeah, there's teams out there that are willing to bring him in for an interview. Cardinals aren't. I don't know why, but Cardinals aren't. But here we go. Pete in the chat says Vance Joseph has spent time under Peyton and that may have helped him. I mean, hope so. Like I said, this is not the end all be all. Right now, it doesn't feel good, right? Right now, it doesn't feel good because honestly, when you're looking at all the other candidates that are available, you start thinking to yourself, why haven't we reached out to Flores? Why haven't we reached out to McDaniel? Hell, even Kevin Stefanski, why haven't we reached out to those guys? McCarthy, right? So right now, it doesn't feel like it is, but it almost kind of feels like it might happen. Like it truly might happen because Saleh is not taking our call. Okay, Saleh is not taking our interviews right now, and it doesn't feel very good as a Cardinal fan. But the circumstances are the circumstances right now. He might relationship with Bidwell. He was a DC here, head coaching experience. All we can hope right now is a hope and a prayer that it works. If he is the guy, I would take him leaps and bounds over Arthur Smith for sure. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Did Flores decline an interview last time around? So we scheduled an interview with him. I think if I can remember correctly, I think that's what happened. I don't think it was a decline. I got to look into it. I forgot. Somebody in the chat refresh my memory. I forgot what happened. I know we were in on Flores because we were talking about him a lot. A lot. I just don't know if the Cardinals went that direction or yeah, somebody refresh my memory in the chat. Let AR know what happened because I completely forgot at this point. DJ Boogie says Saleh not coming to AZ. Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah, it feels like it. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's switch topics over here. Actually, before we do that, let me give some love on over to the sponsors, right? The guys that are paying for all this to happen and, you know, me be able to do what I do, right? Let me give a shout out here to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan throughout the entirety of the 2025 season. Sleeper, obviously. The NFL playoffs are here, which means you now have a chance to 100 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick on stats for stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, and fantasy points, and more for up to 100 times the payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 100 times your payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right. Sorry, and you can win up to $100 deposit match on your first initial deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. Everything will be in the description below the video, and then you also do get a free $20. No deposit needed if you want to use my promo code AZSF upon signing up for Sleeper. So make sure you check them out. All right, let's move on over to the topics. I really picked a good day to not make any content yesterday, right? I mean, I picked a real good day to not make content yesterday. But let's talk about this because this also has implications for Cardinals, right? Because although we weren't in the prime position to get Dante Moore, quarterback out of Oregon, decided to stay with Oregon. Now, this is going to have ripple effects for the Cardinals. Biggest reason as to why is that the unknown with Kyler, right? I don't know if Kyler Murray is going to want to suit up in an Arizona Cardinal uniform. I don't know if the decision to bench him or soft bench him or put him on whatever you think of the storyline ended up unfolding, right? I don't know if that decision came from up top or that decision came from Gannon. What I do know is that Kyler did come out when Gannon was let go, making a post on his Instagram saying that, you know, I will go to war with you, right? Almost giving the thought that, hey, you were a very, very good person and a coach to my success so far. And he, very good glowing words, right, about Kyler to Gannon. So that was cool to see, A, from Kyler, and B, it's cool that they love their coach in Gannon. But there's a lot of unknown with Kyler. Is Kyler Murray going to come back and suit up as an Arizona Cardinal uniform if we bring in another coach, right? Because there was also that speculation that if we bring another coach, Kyler might stay. He is owed a lot of money. Maybe the Cardinals don't want to up and release him, right? Maybe the Cardinals don't want to trade him. Maybe they just use him for the year as a quote unquote bridge to see what he does, but you still draft a quarterback in the draft as well for the future. So a lot of unknown, so many different directions, so many different ways of how to establish this. But seeing that Dante Moore is now going back to college, whether it's for development or to avoid Cardinals or the Jets, whatever the situation is, he decided to go back to Oregon. Now, the only quarterback right now that's getting picked up in the top 10, at least as of right now on January the 15th, is Fernando Mendoza. That's it. Point blank. That's it. This is the only quarterback that's picking in the top 10. Now, I know people are out there that are saying, oh, Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson has declared for the draft, which is actually cool. I'm glad that he did, but he's more of a late round, first round pick. Hell, if you want to get a little squirrely, maybe mid first round pick. He's not top 10 first round pick. I personally would say second rounder. If the Cardinals were to do something like that, maybe a second round pick is something attainable, but those are your options, right? Is Chambliss actually going to declare? It feels like Trinidad Chambliss is doing everything in his power to avoid the draft. That's what it feels like right now. I don't exactly know why, specifically because this draft class is not great. So you might see Chambliss maybe go up draft stocks, right? Or draft boards. Maybe because he is going to come out. Maybe he's going to be seen instead of a third, fourth rounder as a second rounder. Hell, maybe even a first rounder. So now that he's coming out, we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. But there's a big, I guess, ripple effect. And now that Dante Moore is coming out. So there's that aspect of it all. But there's also the aspect of it all that comes down to we're not getting the first best player out of the draft. Well, I mean, it can happen still, depending on what the Jets decide to do. But we were seen to be that's where the draft starts, right? Because it's usually quarterback, and the Cardinals choosing at the third overall pick. That's usually is when the draft starts, because then you get your choice of the litter, right? Whether that's Arvell Reese, whether that is Bain, whether that's David Bailey, which I'm actually a really big fan of David Bailey. Like I've seen him a few different games in Texas A&M, and on top of that, I saw him in the playoff game. That kid is disruptive. But I get it. If people want Bain over Bailey, that I get that. I respect it. Arvell, I would like the idea, but I'm a little worried about the Isaiah Simmons situation, right? A guy that's supposed to be a off-the-ball linebacker, but can play edge at the same time, but needs to refine his tools at edge. I'm a little worried about the whole Swiss Army knife situation. Now, it might be a little different, obviously, because Isaiah Simmons played safety, corner, middle linebacker, edge. He played it all, as opposed to Arvell, which Clemson is a respected school, but Ohio State, which is obviously connections with the Cardinals, because we love Ohio State guys. A lot of people want Arvell Reese to come here, which I'm cool with. I mean, I would like it, but I want a true pass rusher. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a maybe, shoulda, coulda, woulda. He can do this, he can do that, he can do it all. No, I'm looking for a pure pass rusher is what I'm looking for. The Will Anderson Juniors of the world, the JPJs of the world, right? That's what I'm looking for. And David Bailey, maybe Bain as well, out of Miami. It's all going to depend on what happens. I'm cool with Bailey or Bain with the third overall pick, if I'm being real with you. Like, I think the Cardinals need to really focus on getting a guy opposite side of Josh Sweat. It can't just be Josh Sweat. It can't. We don't know when Walter Nolan's coming back, but that's arguably our best defensive player if Calais goes. You know what I mean? Like, and when is he going to be available? When is Walter Nolan going to be available? We don't know, right? So a lot is transpiring in front of our very eyes right now for the Cardinals, and it all kind of had to start with this whole Dante Moore situation. Dante Moore's not declaring. They're saying that the 2027 quarterback draft class is going to be insane. You already seeing that? That's what they said about 2026. That's what the experts said about 2026, that this was supposed to be the best draft class since Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Rosen. People were comparing it. And that honestly, One better was probably the Drake May. Well, that's probably the most recent. Drake May, um, my blank. Jaden Daniels, if he can stay healthy, looks like a really good player, but I don't know if he can. Caleb's looking really, really good. Bo Nix, that's a really good draft class, honestly. I mean, JJ wasn't that great. And Penix, but that one is a really, really good draft class. But people were comparing to 2026 was supposed to be it. Now, it's seen to be as one of the worst. Carson Beck, potentially Trinidad Chambliss, Fernando Mendoza most likely going first overall. Nussmeyer, Cade Klubnik, Aller, those type of guys that were supposed to be first rounders, no longer first round picks anymore. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. But yeah, we got Clipper in the chat saying, I would trade back for Jeremiah Love. I'm glad you mentioned trade back. Because, yeah, the third overall pick is way too rich to get a running back in Jeremiah Love. But I'm glad you mentioned trade back because, honestly, Jeremiah Love is interesting, right? We've seen teams get running backs like Bijan Robinson, Saquon, Jahmyr Gibbs, very high in the first round, and it's worked out for him, right? We see the opposite as well. Genty didn't look very good, but the Raiders are the Raiders. Like, the Raiders aren't that great. So I don't want to blame it on Genty, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. A lot of people right now have the Arizona Cardinals bringing in Vance Joseph. I'm seeing more rumors and more speculation here on the X/Twitter worlds. Vance Joseph is very, very favored to come to the Cardinals right now. In other news, Adam Schefter just reported that Arizona Cardinals former head coach Jonathan Gannon is interviewing today with the Washington Commanders for their defensive coordinator job. So, for what it's worth, there's that. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Let's do this. Do you guys think, out of this list right here that we have, if it's not Vance Joseph, who realistically do you think we can land? Who realistically think that they can land? Out of this list right here, who do you think the Arizona Cardinals can realistically think that they can land? Let me know in the chat, because it might feel like it, man. It might be it. Would you be opposed to getting Rodgers on a 1 year? I just don't see the need for Rodgers. I get it, when you bring in a Rodgers, you're thinking about that you're gonna, what's the word? Like, contend. But I would rather allocate that money that you're going to be paying Rodgers to somewhere else on like, let's say, for example, the offensive line, right? And on top of that, you have Jacoby Brissett for a year. Now, I'm not saying Jacoby Brissett is the answer. I'm not. But I'm also not trying to throw money for a quarterback that's going to be a bridge that most likely won't be here past 2026. Allocate that money to a position of need, right tackle, offensive line, anybody that you can get in free agency to make this team better. And if Jacoby Brissett can continue to play the numbers and put the numbers up, and we do truly drop the young quarterback, then we can throw the quarterback in there to develop, right? Maybe not in the beginning of the season, but maybe somewhere, maybe after a month or whatever the situation is, right? I'm not in on Rodgers, to be real with you. I'm not. Okay, so I asked you guys, who realistically do you think out of this list is realistic for the Cardinals to bring here, right? Not speaking about Vance. Just let's get away from Vance right now. Victor in the chat saying Anthony Weaver. Okay. And then you got the I get it. Okay. AJ in the chat, very positive, saying Kubiak. Okay. Robert in the chat says, I would call Gruden. I mean, I think all of us would call Gruden. Steven in the chat says, Minter is realistic. Okay. So that's different. Minter. Okay. I respect that. I don't think anybody's called Gruden in the Cardinals' defense. It does feel like he's being blackballed, though. I wouldn't be angry at Minter. Okay. But I also wouldn't be too excited. Fair. Okay. We're seeing a lot of love for Minter. Okay. Honestly, I'm intrigued. I'm honestly intrigued with Minter. I really am. I'm not going to come out here and say he's, oh, yeah, absolutely, this is the dude. I mean, what he did in the Chargers, you got to give some respect, but it is what the Cardinals continue to do, right? Hoping that it works, kind of throwing things into a wall and hoping it works. I mean, it is kind of what they did with Gannon. Let's be real. It's exactly what they did with Gannon. Minter isn't the worst, for sure. I'm intrigued with Minter. So I'm liking that you guys are kind of jumping on the train with this, because honestly, at this point, I think we need some sort of train to jump onto. But what people right now are predicting is that Vance Joseph probably most likely will be the coach for the Cardinals. We got my guy Philly Red in the chat saying, yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I think Minter goes to the Steelers or the Ravens, honestly. Okay. All right, we got Manuel in the chat saying, trade our pick this year and Kyler to the Browns and their first round this year and next year's first. I don't think Kyler Murray is going to be coveted that. I think, so I know I did a mock draft. I think it was on Monday. So I ended up doing a trade with the Browns, but the Browns do have Deshaun Watson on a very expensive deal. Now, anybody can move off of the deal if they want to, right? Anybody can move off a deal if they want to. So I'm not going to say that that's the end all be all. He can't go there because of the deal, but they do have a very expensive contract with Deshaun right now. They do got Shador. But if the Cardinals do trade back with the Browns, if we get their first round pick for them to move up a few spots, the question is, who are they really trading up for? Because I don't think there's really any of the Myles Garrett's or the Nick Bosa's of the world in this draft. I don't think there really is. And on top of that, if we do give them Kyler, we might have to give them something back in return. And I don't think I did that on the last draft, but now thinking about it, we might have to give them something back in return as well. So I don't think we can get another first rounder. No, like even if we do get their second first round this year and we pick swap them and send them Kyler, we might have to send them a second rounder. We might have to send them a third round, something like that next year. That will probably make them say, okay, we can do something like that. But to give up 2 first round picks, now granted, one of them's in the 20s. It's not top 10, not top 15. Maybe they'll be willing to do it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I don't hate the fact. I don't hate the thought that we're thinking about maybe places that we could send Kyler, because it does feel like Kyler is going to be gone in another in another uniform next year for sure. Let me see if there's any other updates happening right now in the world of the Cardinals, and then we will continue with the chat. Right now, you guys are absolutely firing it in. I think we got over 450 comments right now, and we've had easily over 100 of you guys here on the YouTube side for a very, very long time. Do me a massive favor, actually. Can you smack the like button, everybody? Smack the like button on this video here, on this live stream. Yeah, appreciate you guys for being here. Right now, got 33 likes with over 100 of you guys watching. And I think we peaked at 150 or 130 or something like that. So smack the like button. It lets other Cardinals fans know that we're currently live right now on YouTube. So appreciate you. All right, let's continue to see if there's any other updates right now in the world of the Cardinals. And I'm not seeing anything other than Gannon. Gannon is interviewing for a defensive coordinator job today with the Commanders, is what I'm seeing. But that's kind of it. Mike McDaniel is also meeting with somebody. I'm not Mike McDaniel. I'm sorry. Robert Saleh is meeting with the Dolphins today, but nothing Cardinals right now, unfortunately. So we'll see. Yo, what's up? Yanko MX. What's up? $5 donation coming our way. What's up? I appreciate you. You're already getting the likes already on this super chat, so it must be a very good super chat. Let's get with my guy Yanko MX. He says this: I'd say we get Kubiak, draft an O-line, defense patches, keep K1, either raise his stock or just burn a little more of that contract and draft Ole Miss quarterback. Man, you got me at draft Ole Miss quarterback. Sheesh. You got me at drafting the Ole Miss quarterback, Chambliss. I still don't understand why Chambliss doesn't want to come out. I really don't. I don't get why Chambliss does not want to come out this draft. He's doing everything in his power to not. Right now, the waiver is denied, so it feels like he's going to declare, but it's not certain. They're still doing all these lawyer things in the background, and Ole Miss is filing an appeal, and all. I don't know. It's a mess right now with the whole Trinidad Chambliss situation, but I don't mind this plan. I don't mind it. Here's the thing. If you keep Kyler Murray, he's not tradable after this year. He's not tradable after this year. Biggest reason as to why. If Kyler Murray, well, I guess it depends. If Kyler Murray does very, very well this year with the new head coach, then I guess it does up his value, right? But looking at what's happening, I guess history tells us that he's probably not, but he could. This is the last year of guaranteed salary for Kyler. So right now, Kyler is signed up into the 2028 season right now, at least per over the cap. He signed up for the 2028 season. So if the Cardinals bring him back for 2026 and they don't want him next year and they don't want to spend another cap hit of $43 million and $46 in 2028, they can release him. They can release him or trade him if they want to do that, right? If they want to do that. But I feel like his value right now is at its all-time high. I just don't see a world where he can light it up. I could be wrong. I mean, it's a solid plan. It's absolutely a solid plan. And I do believe that it should be up to the coach. If the coach wants to keep him, he should be able to keep him. He really should. We just want to win at the end of the day. Cardinals, we just want to win. Pete in the chat says Kyler has to go get something in return. Jets are in play. So are Pittsburgh. I do think that the Jets right now are in play. But I do want the Cardinals to have a freaking plan, though. Like, if you're going to trade Kyler, okay, I get it. What's the plan? Is it Jacoby Brissett? You're riding him out for a month. You get some defensive pieces. You fix the O-line, right? And then you draft a young guy to see him sometime during the season. Okay, I can get behind that, right? I can get behind that. But Dante's not coming out. Your options are Fernando Mendoza, which right now there's no chance in hell you're getting Fernando Mendoza. You're not sitting with the first overall pick unless the Raiders get squirrely and they're actually shopping that pick around. There's that option. Or B, you do go after a Chambliss. Or C, you go after Ty Simpson. Those are your options right now. Yes, Carson Beck is in play. Drew Aller's in play. Nussmeier, Klubnik, right? They're in play. But those are the only three guys that I'm really intrigued with. Trinidad Chambliss, Fernando Mendoza, and Ty Simpson right now. So, John in the chat says, Mike, why do you want a guy who doesn't want to play in the NFL? You're talking about Chambliss? That's a good question. That's a good question. Why he's doing what he's doing, I don't know the full story, right? I don't know the full story as to why he's doing everything he can to avoid the NFL. It's weird. It is. I'm gonna lie. It's really weird. Especially when Dante's not coming out. You think he would be running to the podium and say, okay, I'm coming. I do think it's very, very weird. But what I've seen from him in terms of what he's done in Ole Miss, it's enough for me to say, I will use a draft pick on you, right? If I know a little bit more of the storyline, right? Because right now we're just looking from the outside looking in. It doesn't look good, right? But intangibles and what he can do, the throws, I like it. I like what he can do. He's got the ability to be a quarterback. In the NFL, we'll see. We'll see, right? But that's what it is. That's what the draft is. But that's a very valid question. Very, very valid question. That's just a red flag. Fair? Fair? We are kind of in desperation mode too, though. We're kind of in desperation mode. And I know you shouldn't be making any decisions on desperation mode. I get that. But kind of in desperation mode right now. Steven in the chat saying, there are two coaches from college that I can consider. It'd be a great fit for the Arizona Cardinals. USC, Lincoln Riley, or Ohio State, Ryan Day. I don't think there's really any names out there right now. I don't think there's any names out there right now that any college coaches are being considered right now. I mean, I agree with you. Those are very intriguing guys. I do agree they are very, very intriguing guys. But I don't think I've heard anything out there in college coaches, with maybe the exception of the not Dante, what the heck? Uh, the Notre Dame head coach. That's the only one I kind of really heard about maybe crossing over to the NFL this year. But other than that, that's kind of it. Yanko in the chat, he's saying at this point we're delusional. We just don't want Kyler no more. I mean, here's the thing, right? 8 years is a long time to have a quarterback. And this is the way my mind, and my mind is different from everybody's mind, and I get that, right? 8 years is a long time to roll with the quarterback that didn't give us a division, that did not do playoffs or win a playoff game or any of the stuff that gives us satisfaction that we're a competent team. And now it's not all his fault. I get it. It's not all his fault. 100% agree. But it's a long time to think, okay, well, here we go, 2026. Things are going to get different. What's going to get different, right? That's my mindset. And if you were to try to trade him off, this would probably be the best year to do so. Now, you can if he does very well in 2027. I will say that. He will. But I don't know, man. History doesn't tell me that he probably would. But we'll see. I mean, I could be wrong. But it is going to be the decision of the coach. If the Cardinals want to bring him because the coach wants him, then let's see. Let's see what happens. But good comment. Good comment. Pete in the chat says 5 million reasons why he doesn't want to leave Ole Miss. Let's see here. We got bring in AJ Brown. I mean, AJ Brown's interesting. He's got hands of stone though, right? He's dropping some real. He's been dropping some real good like balls thrown to him. Like he's just dropping everything right now. Him and his buddy DK. Russell in the chat says Bidwell needs to just sell. I agree, man. I agree. Unfortunately, the circumstances that we're living in right now, he's just never going to, right? Like, I think we all kind of need to come to the realization that I just don't think he's going to. Do we want him to? Of course we do. Hell yeah, we want him to. Get him out of here, right? Get him out of here, 100%. But I just don't think he's going to. That's the problem. Couple different things I want to obviously note. For the people that are just joining the chat, today we covered Dante Moore going back to college. A lot of ripple effects. Another thing that we dived into today was obviously Vance Joseph's training in the direction that he could potentially be the guy. I know I had a little bit of a freak out earlier. But it's not the end all be all if he does get hired. Right now, I'm more concerned why the Cardinals aren't bringing in guys like Mike McDaniel, McCarthy, Flores, Stefanski to interview. That's what I'm concerned with right now. If he does become the guy, I can tolerate a season with him being our head coach compared to Arthur Smith. Is he my number one option? No, he's not. Vance Joseph is not my number one option, but I actually, my number one option wasn't even met on my last cycle. Gannon wasn't even on my list, and Gannon was hired. But I got behind it. Am I going to get behind this? Well, I can't get behind Arthur Smith, though. I can't do it. I can't do it, though. So we talked about Dante. We talked about Vance Joseph. Talked about Saleh so far not loving us because he's right now meeting with 3 teams. Today, the Dolphins. On Sunday, who was it? Sunday was... Who was Sunday? Ravens was one of them. Sorry, Ian Rappaport ended up saying this. I had this on top of my head. I don't know where the heck I put it. 1 second. Okay, here we go. So Ravens and Titans, he's going to meet with Sunday. Today, he's meeting with the Dolphins. I'm talking about Robert Saleh, and we put a request for Saleh, but it's not reciprocated. It's not reciprocated right now, and I don't understand why. We do got another super chat coming in here. Mandon coming in here with the 4th super chat. He's getting some love on over in the chat as well. Already 5 likes. Okay. I see you there, Mandon. Let's go ahead and take a look at my guy, Mandon super chat, saying this. Honestly, QB is the least of my concern we have to work with. I'm more worried about this for next free agency group and the draft. Build the team properly. Yeah. Facts, bro. Yeah, 100%. Facts. I mean, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Look all across the team or the team. Look all across the team. Right tackle, There's some unknown at guard. I will say John Gaines played pretty solid down the stretch. Isaiah Adams played pretty solid down the stretch, but they're not the 100% guys. So right tackle, maybe a couple other pieces on the line. Maybe getting some more defensive line help. Like, dang, Josh Sweat and Calais Campbell shouldn't be your end-all, be-all, right? When is Walter Nolan coming back? I know Darius is getting 1% better. It's cool, but there's still a lot of unknown there. Middle linebacker, opposite side of Mac Wilson Sr. Concern, right? Can our cornerback stay healthy? When is Garrett Williams coming back? Can Budda Baker be another year? Or can he actually be utilized like Budda Baker, right? Is Dadrian Taylor Demerson going to be the next Jalen Thompson? There's just so many questions. So many questions right now. So, I mean, you're very factual. Very factual, man. And thank you so much for the super chat. Let me give a quick shout out to Yanko, Mandan, Silver Slay, and Dan T on the chats here. Obviously dropping some donations. Thank you so very much for obviously being generous and just being here and hanging out and talking all things Cardinals. Ladies and gentlemen, just FYI, we did change the look. We did change the look of our thumbnails. So in case you see this thumbnail moving forward, this is me. It's not AI, but this is me, ladies and gentlemen. So FYI, we did change the way our thumbnails are going to look. Want to add a little bit more urgency. So that is coming from yours truly. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We're going to be closing up shop right here. Absolutely great conversation back and forth. Another shout out to Yanko. Another shout out to Dan T. Another shout out to Mandan and Silver Clay. Thanks guys for tuning in. Thank you everybody for smacking the like button. Subscribe. On the road to 19K. Can't do it without you guys. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of your day. All right, guys. Later.